Welcome to STARCARD Podcast. Here at STARCARD Podcast, we get a glimpse at the age of Aquarius ahead of us. We also examine the worlds of education and workplace ethics. My name is Breakaway Ray. I like talking about the breakaway civilizations because we're breaking out of the one we're in now. You've tuned in to a live tarot throw. Today is September 29, 2025. Did you know you have God inside of you? Did you know you could do magic? Did you know that you can connect with the spirit world anytime and in many ways? Whether your answers were yes or no to those questions, you're at the right spot. This is STARCARD Podcast. And you know what else? I got 2 tarot cards for you for the rest of this month. Let's go to the tarot cam. We're closing out the month of September, and I got 2 cards for you to get you through to the end. Here we go. The tarot world and I have been standing patiently by the way. We had a little electricity outage. Nevertheless, we're all ready to go, and the tarot world is ready to present 2 cards to you to get you through to the end of the month. Here we go, 2 cards with a fun, inspiring message for anyone watching this live or later on the recording. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I appreciate it. Here come 2 cards for you. 1, and then 1 off the bottom, 2. Now, I'm sure out of all 78 cards, this must be a very important message to start off with. And so this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's be entertained. Let's see what the tarot world has to say. First up, that's the Justice card, number 11. I like that. Talks about cause and effect and balance. And of course, it also talks about law. And then, yeah, check that out. There's the Ace of Cups. Your cup runneth over with abundance. Let's read what it says on both cards so you can get a more refined understanding of these cards here. Justice, fairness, truth, clarity, equality, balance, cause and effect, and law. I like the truth and clarity part because let's face it, that's what you're tuned in for. I'm sharing stories and you're deciding how real they are to you, how genuine all this information is. So truth and clarity comes in abundance, I bet. Here with the Ace of Cups, love, compassion, creativity, new feelings, spirituality, intuition, new baby, proposal, and marriage. I like the truth and clarity mixed with the new feelings because let's face it, we're all coming up with, well, I can speak for myself. I'm coming up with new feelings, new ways I feel about, for example, history around the world. And of course, in our country, the United States of America, I realize that I'm in the United States of America. We have a cosmopolitan crowd here at STARCARD Podcast. Welcome to all of you tuning in from around the planet. Thank you so much. So anyway, here's our message to get us till the end of the month. Truth and clarity and our new feelings about it. It's okay for us to change our minds about what we thought about history and what we understand about it now. Well, I like that message to start off with. Thank you very much, Tarot World. Let's give you a little toss here. And then whoa. I bet that card's important. Okay, so let's come back up to the head cam here and get oriented. So like I say, I've been standing by in the green room, ready to go live. I'm glad that we're here. I want to thank everyone that's in the chat. If you would like a reading for the second part of the show, please hit the top fans button and then also type in all capital letters tarot, please. This way I could see it later on when I'm ready to scan through and look for readings. I do read the chat after the show. Thank you very much for everyone who participates. I appreciate your kindness to me and to each other. All right, so here at the beginning of the show, I've got a couple of subjects I want to cover. I'm going to tell you about those. And then, again, the second part of the show, we'll do readings for you. So let's check out and see what I got here with my notes. First of all, you're welcome for the 2 cards. Happy to throw them for you. Next up, we're going to talk about using your heart as a portal and then, becoming your own superhero. Let's see how far I get with that. Okay. Then we're going to do a controlled time travel try. We're going to do a control time travel throw where we're going to talk about identification and what it's going to look like 5 years from now. Whereas where we are at right now, for example, with the real ID, which is something that's happening in the United States of America. Okay. Then finally, we're going to go to the Tarotpedia. We're going to talk about the 1735 Zenger trial, which had to do with free speech. And then we'll invite the tarot world to comment on that and the situation that we're in right now. Probably not just in the United States, but around the world. Lots of governments are kind of doing the same kind of thing. And then finally, after we get done talking about the Zenger trial from 1735, we'll turn it all around and do readings for the audience. So first off, I want to talk about using your heart as a portal. And this involves me telling a joke by a comedian named Anthony Jeselnik. His last name is spelled Jeselnic, and I think there's a K at the end. Anthony Jeselnik. He's a quite a unique comedian. I understand he was the first comedian to appear on Jimmy Fallon's late night show. I'm only going to tell you one of his jokes. I like it when comedians use misdirection, and it makes it fun to figure out the punchline. So I'm going to start, believe it or not, with an Anthony Jeselnik joke. I'm going to try to paraphrase as best I can. Actually, I wrote it down so I wouldn't mess up too much. So here I go. This is a joke that he made. He has some jokes about his mom. Remember, this is all comedy. This is all for entertainment purposes only. I clicked the entertainment button before we went live, all right? So anyway, thanks, Anthony Jeselnik, for this joke. Last month, our mom should have celebrated her 60th birthday. I'm going to start that joke over again without the extra light. Last month, our mom should have celebrated her 60th birthday. But because of drugs and alcohol and other terrible decisions, we all forgot. All right. So the reason why I shared that joke is because I wonder if anyone else feels like I do or have in life. And that is like, sometimes you're kind of counting on someone to do something, or you're expecting, a little reciprocity, but it's not there. You're giving, but you're not getting back. And then eventually you just say to yourself, you know what? It's only going to get done if I do it. You know what? I'm just going to have to clean up this mess. This person's not even paying attention, or this group of people, or this institution, nobody's helping. I got to do it for myself. And maybe, you could feel that way even as a child. You're expecting, dinner on the table, but whatever happened, your parents had an emergency, or they were sick, or something happened. You just did it for yourself, right? So I think that there's a way, because I've listened to hundreds of hours of videos. I think there's a way to use your heart as a portal. Here's something that we don't think about. Nobody talks about. We don't hear about this in school. But when we learn how to pray, they kind of talk about it a little bit. So think about that time when it was really challenging, and regardless of how you felt about it, you just marched forward and you took care of business. Now, maybe you're still a little rankled about how it all went down, okay? Nevertheless, you survived and you moved on. You overcame that obstacle, whatever it was. That old expression we have here in the United States, you picked yourself up by your bootstraps and you made it happen. You give yourself your own boost over the wall, okay? You survived and you moved on, and now you're even better than you were before. So what I've been doing for a long time now is like, I notice that when I'm on my hikes and I'm not using any AirPods, I'm alone with my thoughts. And then all of a sudden, these things start bubbling up about, I'm still upset about something that happened in 2017. I'm still upset about something that happened in 2002. I'm still upset about something that happened in the 20th century, whatever it was, from my childhood. But then what you do is, my point of view, you use time travel, because when we leave these bodies and you're in the spirit world, there is no time. You are your whole person all at once. You are the seed that becomes a tree. The seed has everything in it. It just needs time to unfold. So in the spirit world, you look at your whole life, and then you can actually send yourself some support and some encouragement. you would be receiving some emotional and positive vibrations from yourself in the future, saying, hey, hang in there, you're doing a good job. I want to give you a quick example of this. I try not to make it too personal, but I had a challenge before I had the opportunity to move into this blessed home that I have here, this wonderful studio you see. I was in another situation where, I was not sleeping in my master bedroom because of some activity that was going on outside of it. And that's one of the reasons why I had to put my house on the market. And then I was also, it was a long 6-month process. As a matter of fact, after work, I would drive around looking in neighborhoods to see where I might get a new place that would suit me, for example. Also, I might be meeting with a real estate agent to go check out some houses, for example. But then around 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, when most people are eating dinner, I'm like parked by a local city park, and I'm sleeping in my car. I'm catching a nap because I know I'm not going to sleep later on that night. And then another thing that I would do every night is that I would drag a futon from my porch into the kitchen, which was a quiet place to sleep. And every morning I would get up early and then put all the furniture back because I never knew if my real estate agent was going to bring someone into the house to check it out. So I had to pretend like I wasn't sleeping in my kitchen every day for 6 months. And you would say, oh, hey, Breakaway Ray, what about calling the police? Is there some kind of disturbance going on? Well, someone pointed out to me that if you call the police, it's going to make it harder to sell the house because then the police has a public record of disturbances. Who's going to want to move into that area, right? Nevertheless, things worked out, but it was grueling. It was grueling, and now I'm much better off for it. But every once in a while, when I'm reflecting on how challenging that was, I send a message to myself and I say, hey, hang in there. You're doing the best that you can. Watch and see what the universe has for you. Hang in there. It's going to be all right. So I wanted to share that part with you in case you hadn't heard, other thinkers and influencers and people on social media saying something like that. You're in control of your emotions. You can rewrite your own history, and you don't need anyone else to participate in that. You're probably the only one who remembers that part of history that you're trying to remember and you're trying to deal with. And now you can turn it all around and turn it into something positive. And no one else is going to care. And why should you care what other people think about what happened? You know what happened. Okay. Don't be gaslit. All right. Come back to your center. Think about thriving in the future, how you're going to overcome this obstacle like you overcame so many before. Okay. You have help and guidance from the spirit world. All right. That's enough of me trying to be inspirational from the pulpit over here on my soapbox. I got a couple more things I want to do. So let's check my notes. So yesterday I was watching Melissa Gates Perry on the Typical Skeptic podcast with the legendary Rob Khalil. And Melissa Gates Perry channels an entity named Aralam. I think I'm saying that right. So he's a spirit. He's a discarnated entity who shares information with Melissa Gates Perry, because these spiritual entities, they can all see things that we can't see because we're too busy using our 3-dimensional eyes, and we're busy trying to open up our pineal gland, our third eye right up there, right? So I'm pretty sure that's kind of what's going on with the tarot cards and me. But one thing that they came up with last night in their discussion was the real ID. The real identification card. Somebody in the chat came up with the question, what does Aralam think about that? And Aralam had a quite a unique perspective. I agree with what Aralam said when Aralam said that, as long as it's not something that's connected to the body or inside the body, like a chip, okay, everything's okay. As long as it's like an ID card, we're cool. But in about 5 years, it was a very abbreviated timeline. In about 5 years, things are going to be changing. I mean, we can see it all around us, the way they're digitizing our currency and doing everything online. By the way, I want to remind everyone, the electricity was down in my house for like the last hour, and I couldn't do anything without the electricity and the internet. So again, heads up, everybody. We're advancing towards this digitized society, okay? But if the electricity goes down, you're out of luck. And, well, you're not out of luck. It's probably a blessing in disguise. Get off the internet, right? But then at the same time, everything is going to be controlled through the internet. Anyway, where was I going with that? So what I'd like to do is I'd like to throw the tarot cards, invite the tarot world to tell us what it looks like what does identification look like for us now? Like you have the real ID, as they call it, which means that you could get on a plane. It's the best substitute for a passport. Okay. So we've got the real ID, and then what's it going to look like 5 years from now? That's what I want to know. So I want to do this one first, then I want to do the one about the 1735 Zenger trial about freedom of the press, and then we'll go to your readings. So let's go back down to the tarot cam and get busy shuffling. Here we go. Having fun. Oh, yeah, you guys see my middle school history book is out. I'll be taking that out later. Okay. So again, the real ID, it would have been a clever gimmick for me to take out my own driver's license, except that I'd have to tape over all the identifying information. So we're going to ask the tarot world to show us, what does identification look like right now for us? And then 5 years from now, what might it look like? I see Justice Woman's in the house. Thanks, Justice Woman. I'm glad you're there. I appreciate you, keeping me company. All right. That's right. You're number one, Justice Woman. All right. So, hey, Tarot World. We're all ready to hear your point of view. Anonymity seems to have gone by the wayside, unless you're totally off grid somehow. I don't even know how that's happening nowadays. There's no way to do it. Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't investigated, and I'm going to participate in the system. I've got my my IDs for the internet browser that I use. In any case, we invite you, Tarot World, to give us a picture of identification in the world today and what's it going to look like 5 years from now. If you give us a timeline, please, of what identification looks like for us today, and also what's it going to look like 5 years from now. Yeah, thank you. Let's give these one more toss. Identification now and 5 years from now. Doing that again, huh? Okay, great. Identification now and 5 years from now. Whoa. All right. Identification now and 5 years from now. And I feel like there's two more cards coming. All right, thanks, Tarot World. Let's see if I can figure out what you're talking about. I throw tarot cards. I tell a story. I use my imagination. It's for entertainment purposes only. And if you're tuned in, I hope you're entertained. Here I go. What does identification look like to us right now? Yay. All right. I'm all excited. I realize I got a bunch of new viewers and subscribers here. This is the Two of Cups. And when I see the Two of Cups, especially at the very beginning of a message, the Two of Cups represents communication to me from the spirit world, because I look at it and I say, it almost looks like two people talking on a telephone in a split screen from a TV show from the 20th century. So the Two of Cups does talk about communication. Let's read what it says. But I also think the tarot world saying, hey, here's the message you're asking about. Unified love, partnership, mutual attraction, proposal, marriage, and connection. Well, and then, of course, tarot is multi-dimensional. So we are talking about a connection. That's why we have the identification, right? The moon showed up. The moon talks about illusion. I almost want to stop right there. Mystery, dreams, intuition, fear, anxiety, subconscious, and premonitions. So the words illusion, fear, and anxiety strike me after we just read about a marriage and a connection. So it's a connection. Then, there's some fear and anxiety. You got to have the ID card. I hear you. That's an emotion. If you can't buy an airline ticket because you don't have your real ID, that's a situation. I know that's happening like this year, just this past summer. People have had that happen to them out here in the state where I'm at. But also, when we talk about this identification, it is kind of an illusion. And if you know about the straw man, anyone who's been watching Mary Beaver videos, we have our identity here on Earth, and then there's a straw man version of us, a legal version of it, according to maritime law. And then let's not forget since you're watching STARCARD podcast, you have multiple identities. You're all caught up with the one that you're doing here on Earth's surface right now, but this is not your only go around, and it's not the last one, and it's probably not the only one you're living concurrently. Check out where you're going when you're astral traveling, everybody. Ooh, I'm totally getting into this. I only had 2 cards. I got a bunch more to go here. Whoa. Tell us about the real ID. It's a connection, it's an illusion, and there's some pain involved. Says the 3 of Swords. And when you see the 2 of Wands, it's like it's a plan that's been approved, and they're going to go forward with it. This does, I mean, for a guy like me, who grew up, you know, in thinking about George Orwell's 1984 and totalitarian societies, you know, it's a connection you got to have. It's going to be painful to lose your privacy, but that's the way things are going. Okay. I mean, let's face it. Not only can we not stop people from reading our minds, we can't stop devices and the electric connections in our houses from not reading our minds. So gone are the days of privacy of like the 20th century. Well, let's just say the middle of the 20th century that I remember. Let's move on. All right, so 5 years from now, the Page of Wands shows up, and this guy's got limitless perspective. 5 years from now, what is identification going to look like? The Page of Wands says limitless potential, and then also talks about exploration, excitement, and freedom. That sounds promising, but also limitless potential means, you know, we can't even imagine what it's going to look like just 5 years from now. I'm quite sure, like, besides thumbprints, there'll be DNA prints, all kinds of biometric scans. We already know they're in use. They even measure the way people stand. It's called your gait, G-A-I-T. So, I mean, we've got all this stuff right now. I guess limitless potential, it could spread around the world, you know, and saturate it even more. Wow. Hey, I was getting all like paranoid, right? But then guess what shows up? It's the Star card. And the Star card offers hope. I was trying to take it into like, you know, we're all going to be taken over by cybernetics and identities. It's going to be squashed. There's going to be no imagination. But no, the Star card showed up, everybody. I can't argue with the Star card. Hope, calm, faith, purpose, renewal, spirituality, fortune, good omen, rejuvenation. Maybe this whole challenge over our identification and this whole exploration to learn about ourselves leads us to a better place where we can be hopeful. Oh yeah, look at that. The Fool card showed up. That's the beginning. And this guy, he's got a lot of blind faith. He's got a lot of trust in life. And we have it right next to the Star card. How about that? Wow. And then the Knight of Swords says, da-da-da-da-da, charge. Let's see what it says. Ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed, fast thinking, defending beliefs. Huh. Well, if we're just looking at the way identification looks 5 years from now, they might tell us that it's going to open up the world to us. We'll have more freedom. We should be hopeful and look forward to great beginnings and have blind faith and march right into it. I would say, just from my own point of view, it's good to have faith, but also don't forget, as we look at the Star card, the lady in the Star card has her foot in water and her foot on land. She has her feet in both worlds. She is grounded. So she can have hope, she can have faith, but she's not forgetting where she came from. Okay, she's staying grounded. And then, yeah, it will be a new adventure. It will be like living in a new world, and which we should all pursue enthusiastically. I think, again, is it the third law of karma? Check STARCARD podcast for the 12 laws of karma. The third law of karma, life only changes when you act on it. So, you know, create a good intention and act on it. Wow. I mean, 5 years from now can look exactly the way we want it to look, as long as we have good intentions. Let's formulate our intentions now here at STARCARD Podcast. We're just at the beginning. It's 5 years away. We got a long way to go. Here are 2 more cards to finish off the conversation. Wow. It's the 8 of Wands and the 7 of Swords. The 8 of Wands says right now, and the 7 of Swords says something's hidden. Or it could even be saying the identification will give us instant access because it'll be revealing who we are right away. Instant revelation. That's like a nice summary about identification. Instant revelation. Who is this person? Hey, I enjoyed that. I hope you did too. That was a lot of fun for me. That's why I like throwing tarot cards. Thank you, Tarot World. Very intriguing, very interesting. And now we're going to get out the social studies book. Let me give these a toss real quick. Here we go. Well, so way back when I was a kid in New York, we put on a play, and it involved the John Peter Zenger trial from 1735. I played the part of the judge. I had like 2 lines. I sat up there for a long time, and I had to remember what my cue was because it was a long, long wait for me. But I had 2 lines in the play as the judge. And then after the play, I got a bunch of compliments from my schoolmates. They all like enjoyed my performance. When I stole the show, I only had 2 lines. But I haven't forgotten that play. And it's worthwhile talking about because we're experiencing another challenge to freedom of the press and freedom of speech here in the United States. So I would like to go back to before the United States was conceived or put together or born in the year 1776, which Guy Anderson will say was the year of a mud flood. I mean, history is so rich with mysteries now. But anyway, we're going to go all the way back to 1735. And I'm going to go all the way back to my 1970s-ish middle school history book. I'm going to go to page 57, I think it is, and read to you a paragraph about the John Peter Zenger trial. So Mr. Zenger, by the way, he was a newspaper publisher, and he was criticizing, I think, the governor. He was criticizing a public official, and the public official said, hey, we're not doing that, and he put him in jail. And then when they went to court, the court decided that he had the right to do what he was doing. We had freedom of speech. And part of that was based on British laws that had been, transported from Great Britain to the English colonies on the Atlantic seaboard of North America way back in the 1700s. So I'm going to, let's see. I'll leave the camera up here, and I'm going to, no, let's look at the book. Let's look at the book. Here we go. There's the book down there. All right. So I'm just going to read these 2 paragraphs right up here about the Zenger trial. Okay, we're talking about freedom of speech here. Here I go. The Zenger trial, 1735. John Peter Zenger, a German immigrant, settled in New York City and became a printer and publisher. In his newspaper, The Weekly Journal, Zenger carried articles criticizing the royal governor, William Cosby. You heard that correctly. He was criticizing William Cosby. In 1735, he got arrested and put in jail for criticizing William Cosby. However, if he had done it nowadays, he might get his own late night show. Anyway, let's go back to the book. Angered by these attacks, William Cosby ordered Zenger's arrest. At his trial in 1735, Zenger was defended by Andrew Hamilton of Philadelphia, one of the ablest lawyers of the day. Hamilton argued that as long as the man told the truth, he had the right to expose and oppose an unjust government. The jury brought in The jury brought in a verdict of not guilty, and Zenger was freed. This case established the principle of freedom of the press. The decision made it possible for newspapers to print the truth and openly criticize the government and its policies. The Zenger trial thus helped the growth of the movement for independence. Meaning that once you've established freedom of the press, that's a step in the direction of independence from Great Britain and the king. So I'm going to put my book aside now, and I'd like to invite not necessarily John Peter Zenger, the imprisoned person, but how about the decision itself, the spirit of the decision for which so much of our government here in the United States has been based upon. Let's invite the spirit of the trial of the 1735 Zenger trial to comment on freedom of the press right now. Because I know most of us, whether we're paying attention to the news or not, we know that there's a difference. We can see a change. There's lots of changes going on in a hurry. So one more time, we're going to go back down to the tarot cam and talk to the tarot world about freedom of the press. I think I'm still recording. The clock's still running. All right, thank you very much, Tarot World. See, I see, well, anyway, hey, Tarot World, we're ready for a discussion about freedom of the press. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about a story from the 1735 Zenger trial to where we're at right now. From the 1735 Zenger trial, did I make notes for that one? I thought I did. I guess not. Freedom of the press from 1735 to where we're at right now. You probably have a word of caution for us, something that we should pay attention to. Some way we could all keep our freedom of the press, freedom of speech, keep that thing going. It works. How else are we going to get the message out? Everybody's self-censoring themselves on social media. All right, let's talk about freedom of the press. And we'll give the Tarot World 2 more cards to go to finish the sentence. Here we go. This is for entertainment purposes only. I want to thank the Tarot World very much for all this fun tarot dialogue. This is about the 1735 Zenger trial, portraying the story of our freedom of the press right now. Wow, that's optimistic. The Tarot World says the Sun card, which means everything's going to be all right. How about that? Very positive today, Tarot World. Positivity, pleasure, happiness, vitality, fun, joy, warmth, celebration, success, rebirth, all is well. A rebirth. Well, I would say the more we pay attention to freedom of the press and freedom of speech, the more we give it life every day. But nevertheless, this is a very promising, optimistic beginning here of this message about freedom of the press. Oh, check it out. Here's the Eight of Wands talking about flight or travel or coming really soon, coming in quickly. Good news coming in quickly about freedom of the press. Wow, even more good news. Look, the Empress shows up. Let's read what she has to say. Abundance, nurturing, good parenting, development, accomplishment, evolution, action. There's going to be some kind of evolution or action towards freedom of the press, unless this is the 1735 part of the story. Let's check and see. And then the Two of Wands, yeah, this might be the, I mean, it could be, we haven't revealed all the cards, right? But if this was just about 1735, the case, all is going to be all right in a hurry when they make the decision. There's going to be a development where they're going to make a plan that everyone's going to have freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and it's going to be a good plan. It's going to last for a couple of 100 years to where we are right now. let's see what else is going on with these cards. Freedom of the press, the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, yeah, this was 1735, and now we have the fruits of our labor, says the 9 of Pentacles. We're building on that tradition of freedom of the press. And the King of Wands talks about the big picture and overcoming obstacles. Wow, there's your 2 of Cups again, Breakaway Ray. And also talks about communication and connection. And there's the Star card. Ooh, the tarot world is so optimistic today. Let's review again what my story is. So the guy was put in jail in 1735, but everything's going to be okay in a hurry because there's going to be development that's going to be good for everybody. And it's going to be like our forefathers, the founding fathers, put together the freedom of the press. And that was a good plan that we carried forward. Now, here we are today. We're not resting. We're enjoying the fruits of our labor, keeping free speech and freedom of the press in action. We've overcome a lot of obstacles. We're making a connection, and we should have hope. Okay, I agree. We're paying attention to it. We're valuing it. We're discussing it. And so things should look promising for us with freedom of the press and free speech. Let me point out that, some late night hosts got taken off the air. Well, more than one, right? And that happens in other countries all the time. But guess what? This guy was taken off the air, and now he's like right back on the air. So I guess there's a spirit of, I want to talk to the manager here at in the United States, right? And when people lost their favorite late night host, somebody wanted to talk to the manager. And that sounds promising. All right, so yeah, everybody, let's stick up for freedom of speech and freedom of the press, right? It's kind of reminding me of Occupy Wall Street. Anyway, nice positive message. The tarot world's showing off, right? You got your 2 of Cups and the Star card showing up again. You got the Sun card leading off, reminding us everything's going to be okay in a hurry. Anyway, your last 2 cards, the Knight of Cups is a knight in shining armor, and Temperance talks about balance. I think that's like a nice message. Again, we were talking about freedom of the press. Well, the people that when we exercise our right to free speech, we need to be balanced, and it's good for us to show respect and be grateful. Show respect and be grateful for this right that we have. All right, it's like breathing, it's like water, it's like food and air. Freedom of speech and freedom of the press. It's what allows humans to be humans and use their imaginations and get carried away like I just did reading all these cards. Thank you very much, Tarot World. You know I had fun doing that. And now I got a few friends in the chat, and we're going to see if anyone wants a reading. Let me give these a toss real quick, and I'll start taking some notes. Hey, everybody. Thanks a lot for being with me. I'm getting my piece of paper and a pencil. All right. Yeah. Hi again, Justice Woman. I see you would like a reading, so I'm going to write you down. If you hit the top fans button, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to guess that you want a reading. That's what I think when I see the top fans thing. I'm so glad I have top fans, by the way. But if you don't want a reading, make sure you qualify that and let me know. Because when I see the top fans button, I'm thinking you want a reading. So we got Justice Woman. Hi, Puck Elf. Good to see you again. Yeah, right on. I'm trying to see if you, right, yeah. Okay, very good, Puck Elf. I'm going to get you some cards. Thank you very much, Puck Elf. Yeah, we make a good team, Puck Elf. All right, and then let's see. We got a third one there. Rose is in the house. Hi, Rose. And Rose is asking specifically energy for the week. So I threw 2 cards for the rest of the month. That includes up until tomorrow. And then when October rolls around, I'm going to throw some cards for the month. But nevertheless, I'm going to throw you your own cards for the week. And let me see if there's anyone else out there. Yeah, you're welcome, Puck Elf. Yeah, I got my Christmas tree out. I don't know if you heard this already. You know, my birthday is on that day, and I care about you viewers, and I value all you subscribers, so I want to make things look nice. Let me move it up a little bit. You can see how nice it looks up there. So I still got the star card backdrop over there. There. Then I got an old one with the pine trees right over here behind the Christmas tree. Anyway, you can tell I like it. It looks good. I got the black light on underneath. It kind of makes it glow. Pretty cool. All right. Yeah, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I worked hard for it too. So I have Justice Woman, Puck Elf, and Rose, and we'll see if anyone else joins the party later. But let's start off with Justice Woman. Thanks, everybody. Here we go, Justice Woman. We're going to throw you some cards, and we're going to try to make it a positive, uplifting, entertaining message. All right, Tarot World. I can tell the Tarot World wants me to throw more cards. So glad that the Tarot World is here to help. So how about some nice cards for Justice Woman, please? Thanks a lot, Tarot World. A fun, helpful, entertaining message, please, for Justice Woman. Great. Thank you. These cards are for Justice Woman. These cards are for Justice Woman. For Justice Woman, a fun, helpful message, please. That one too, okay. All right, let's give these a try. Thanks for inviting me to read. I get to be all creative first thing in the morning. First up, it's the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups indicates that there's a lot going on. There's lots of opportunities, lots of choices. Let's read what it says. Opportunities, wishful thinking, choices, illusion, searching for purpose, and daydreaming. Daydreaming is fun. Next up, I know I shuffled the cards. The Knight of Cups showed up, and he is the Knight in Shining Armor. Daydreaming, Knight in Shining Armor, lots of choices. Here's the Knight in Shining Armor, and there's a challenge, says the Seven of Wands. Challenge, competition, protection, perseverance, defense, and maintaining control. So with all those things going on, someone is in charge and composed and poised to handle the whole thing. Almost like, you're throwing a party. Just to go all the way back to my days in high school and in college, right? My parents are out of town. I'm going to throw a party. All right, the party got a little bit, someone got the word out. A lot more people showed up. Nevertheless, I got it all under control. It's not a problem. The police officers come to the door, and I'm like, hey, everything's cool. We're all going to turn down the music now. Please don't tell my parents. All right, then, wow, yay, it's the Nine of Cups, talks about a wish coming true. That's nice. And then the Ace of Swords talks about truth and clarity, mental clarity, breakthroughs, new ideas, success, sharp mind. Nice. It feels like there's going to be a wish come true because you might get some kind of understanding you didn't have before. Some kind of truth is going to be revealed. There might be some disappointment, says the Five of Cups. But remember, we always look at the Five of Cups and say, hey, don't forget, you got all the cups you need right there. Focus on the cups you got. You only got two hands. How many cups you want? Okay, you got what you need. The wish came true. You got what you wanted. Some of that stuff, you're going to have to just let it go. That's the way things are. That's the way the cookie crumbles. And then the Six of Wands says, public recognition. At that point, you might as well get on your horse and ride and enjoy it and celebrate. Well, Justice Woman, it's a superhero name, and that looks like a superhero riding off in the sunset there after the wish came true, and the truth was here, revealing whatever the problem was. And now everything's cool. I hope that was fun and entertaining, Justice Woman. Thanks for inviting me to read. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks a lot. I appreciate everyone's feedback in the chat too, because like I've said so many times before, I'm I'm a little bit new to this, so when people let me know I'm on target a little bit there, it helps me refine my practice. So next up, we're going to take care of Puck Elf. I'm going to throw 5 cards for Puck Elf. I'm pretty sure 5 cards is all we need. After all, sometimes Puck Elf just needs 1. He knows what's going on. Anyway, let's get 5 cards for Puck Elf. All right. The cards really like you, Puck Elf. It always tells a fun story. It almost looks like a cartoon strip in some ways. Anyway, thanks again for inviting me to read, Puck Elf. I really appreciate it. Here I go. How about 5 cards for Puck Elf, please? Watching Way Down Under. 5 cards for Puck Elf. These 5 cards are for Puck Elf. That one too? Okay. 5 cards for Puck Elf. Yeah, all right, here we go, Puck Elf. Sweet. First up, it's the Knight of Swords. Let's charge towards our goal energetically, ambitious, action-oriented, driven to succeed. Wow. And then the fruits of your labor is the 9 of Pentacles. You're driven to succeed, to build up that nest egg. Or could just be you're ready to go on a Monday to work hard to get to Friday so you could chill out. Wow, the 5 of Wands talks about some kind of conflict. There always seems to be some kind of conflict, but I'm going to say there's always a conflict here on Earth's surface. Competition, rivalry, conflict, disagreements, strife, and tension. And I don't know why I want to make fun of this guy on the bottom right there. I know it's hard to see in the camera. I like kind of want to tease him about his outfit. What, he's got like polka dots on it. No what? Yeah, he's got like little purple polka dots on his outfit. No wonder he's getting in a fight. These guys are probably like bullying him. What are you wearing that outfit for? Okay, that's me, joking around, being a bully about making fun of people with their clothes. But and I was a school teacher. All right. Anyway, let's move on with the cards. These cards are for Puck Elf. He's charging forward. He's using the fruits of his labor, the knowledge and experience he's had to face these conflicts and these obstacles. And then look, the Page of Cups shows up. It says there's going to be a happy surprise, Puck Elf. Yeah, we might as well focus on the happy surprise, and pay less attention to these guys. Let these guys duke it out. That's their problem. It's not our business. We're here to chill with a pleasant surprise, and it's going to happen soon. The 8 of Wands talks about it's happening soon. Also, it could mean travel, and it could mean flight. So maybe the happy surprise is you're going to be taking a trip, getting away from these guys, because you know what? You've been enthusiastically building up the fruits of your labor. Hey, Puck Elf, thanks again. I hope that was entertaining and interesting, and I look forward to hearing from you again. Oh, I love it. Spot on. Thanks, Puck Elf. I appreciate that. Hello, Mr. A. I see you also. Hey, Puck Elf. Those are some great details. That helps me out. I appreciate it. Hey, Mr. A. If you want, Mr. A, there's plenty of time for a reading if you want one. But I'm going to take care of Rose right now. Rose has asked for an energy reading for the week. Yeah, Puck Elf. Thanks a lot for sharing all the details. I'm going to read the chat later. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and take care of Rose. Yeah, sure, Mr. A. No problem. Let me write it down so I don't forget by accident here. Mr. A is back. Nice. No, I want to. I feel like interesting things happen when I read for Mr. A. But these are for Rose. I'm very sure Rose has been tuning in to STARCARD podcast since August, getting in on the ground floor. Thanks a lot, Rose. Part of what I do here is because of people like you and Puck Elf and Mr. A. You guys keep me going. You interact with me wherever you are on the planet, whatever time it is. So I do appreciate it. These cards are for Rose. She wants an energy outlook for the week. Hey, Tarot World, we're ready for an energy outlook for the week for Rose, please. A fun, helpful message for Rose. Thanks for inviting me to read, Rose. Fun, helpful message for Rose. Energy for the week. That's 5 days plus 1. And that's the one for later. These cards are for Rose. Fun, helpful message, an energy reading for the week for Rose. So I got 5 for the 5 days of the week, and then I got a punctuation mark, Rose. Here I go. First up, it's the Knight of Pentacles. He talks about hard work. And he also talks about productivity, routine, efficiency, and responsibility, right? Get all your jobs lined up for the week at the beginning. Make it easy. Make a list. Then the Six of Cups talks about nostalgia. It also talks about familiarity, happy memories, reminiscing, childhood memories, innocence, and joy. Hard work for a good reason. And then, is that the Hierophant? I think it is. The Hierophant talks about institutions, tradition, religion, society and its rules, social approval, conformity, forgiveness, mercy, wisdom, and trust. I mean, again, I'm a school teacher. So when I think about hard work for the children, you know, and the Hierophant shows up, the learned man, it sounds like, you know, a parent volunteer or someone going to be a guest speaker in a classroom. Anyway, I'll continue. Oh, how nice. Then there's the Ten of Cups showing up. It says dreams come true. It talks about divine love, love from the universe. Well, you know, again, going with the classroom theme, you know, we talk about being surrounded by unconditional love and a bunch of people who are in their theta wave state. We're talking about young children. It's a whole different world when you're in the classroom. Anyway, this is a fun streak of cards here. Let's see how it ends. You're encouraged with another bookend of a knight. This is the Knight of Swords. And he talks about being ambitious and driven to succeed. So your energy for the week has been presented, and the universe reminds you with the Six of Swords that you are being guided from rougher waters to calmer waters by a divine hand. So you must be really lined up with your soul's path, because, I mean, that, again, look at how that punctuation mark came out. You know, you have divine love, you have two knights as bookends, and the universe is saying, don't forget, we got your back, we know where you're going, and keep walking in the right direction. All right, way to go, Rose. Thanks a lot. You're welcome. And then looks like we're on Mr. A now. Great. We're making good time, everybody. All right, Mr. A. I don't know if you have any particular subject you want me to address. Otherwise, I'm sure the tarot world knows what you want to hear. I'm thinking your own spirit guides know what you need to hear, and they're trying to get me to tell you the message. So how about a fun, helpful message for our friend, Mr. A? That would be awesome. A for awesome. Yeah, you're welcome, Rose. Thanks a lot. This reading is for Mr. A. Mr. A. Wow. A fun, helpful message for Mr. A, please. These cards are for Mr. A. Cards for Mr. A. These cards are for Mr. A. All right. For Mr. A, a fun, helpful message. All right. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Wow. So we're starting off, and we mean business. It's the Devil card. There's something we have to let go. In case you're new to STARCARD podcast, I'd like to point out that the people, you know, standing in front of the devil on the Devil card there, they have chains around their necks, but the chains are not that tight. They could just lift them up and let them go. The Devil card's all about letting something go. It also is about the shadow self, but then check this out. It's the Eight of Cups. It's the walk away card. So we're talking about letting something go, and the Eight of Cups says, walk away from it. You know, it doesn't look right anymore. It's not serving us. And you know what? You're going to feel a lot lighter having done that. You know, let it go, walk away from it, cut your losses. You know, look towards the sun. There's a, you know, brightness and a well-trodden path for you to follow. Just let this stuff go. Sometimes that's a hard message to hear. Anyway, let's continue. Yay! You're watching STARCARD podcast. Have hope. Have hope. Be calm. Have faith. Have purpose. There's renewal. There's spirituality, fortune, and a good omen. See? Look at what's happening. You're going to forget about all this stuff that you had to walk away from and let go. You're going to ride proudly off into the sunset. And then you got all this hope and faith and purpose coming in with your star card. Okay, you're following your soul's path there. That's awesome. Yeah, the strength card says, for sure. Wow, this is really positive here. And then finally, you have the King of Wands, and he's the big picture guy. The big picture is, you know, things are very fortunate. You're in fortunate, strong circumstances. Congratulations on, you know, creating that world that you live in, because it looks really great right now. I want to come, you know, play bocce in your backyard, for example. Looks like a nice place you got there. So the last two cards are the Seven of Swords and the Death card. So the Seven of Swords can talk about something that's hidden or something that's about to be revealed. And the Death card talks about change and transformation. So, you know, maybe there's something about to be revealed that's going to change things even more, because you were in a good position. You started by saying, I'm letting go of negative stuff. I'm healing and moving on. Okay. And now I'm in a good position to see the big picture, which is I got faith, I got purpose. And then suddenly something's going to be revealed to me. It's going to change everything. Hey, Mr. A, that was a fun reading for me. I hope it was fun for you too. And I appreciate you inviting me to read. I appreciate you viewing my show. Thanks a lot for watching STARCARD podcast. We're making good time here, everybody. But what a wonderful, intimate program it's been, and a great morning to spend with you all around the world. I hope everyone enjoys watching the recording. I hope everyone has a great week. I'm going to try to be here again weekday mornings between 5 or 6 in the morning out here on the West Coast. So as you go through your day, don't forget to look up at the sky so you can see your star. My name's Breakaway Ray. Have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.